So we're here today with Isaac to do some integrative work. We're going to do some rolling to get warmed up and then make it into a fluid movement. So if Isaac can, for the first position, just lay flat on his back on the ground in the supine lying position. And from here we're going to just get warmed up with some rocking. So he'll pull his knees to his chest and then he will put his arms over his head. And as he rolls forward, creating the lumbar kind of a rounded lumbar spine, he's reaching forward with his hands to have that momentum to carry him forward. Now you want to make sure that you have a kind of a rounded back. In most positions we want to have more of a flat back to protect the spine. In this position we want to use the rounded aspect of the spine to carry our momentum. You also want to protect your head by pulling your chin to your chest, and don't reach with your neck and don't hit your head on the ground. And you can use your hands, you can try it without using your hands as well. So do 10, 12 of these to get warmed up, and then I'll ask Isaac to come to a half Z-sit. So on this one, he'll come up into what we call a half Z-sit or a half shin box position. It's kind of like a half sitting, half kneeling, or half squat. So from here, you can do get-ups in this position. We've done some get-ups out of this position before. You just kind of lean and roll over the knee and extend the hips up into the kneeling position. So you can do 10 or 12 of those on each side. And this is really good for hips, for your hip strength, your glute strength, your hip mobility. And now we'll ask Isaac to go ahead and do the other side when he's ready. So after a couple more of these, we're going to go ahead and kind of start to combine these movements. So as Isaac's down in the bottom of the Z-sit, we're going to rock back, come up into the opposite Z-sit. Good. So notice how he shifts his hips to the opposite side as he goes back. So he stacks them the other way, rolls up across the other knee onto the other foot. So this is a really good integrative movement. It's good for your proprioception. It's good for your nervous system. It kind of just helps you explore and also know what you're doing in space. So as Isaac comes up now, we're going to have him do a high reach variant of this. So notice he'll come straight up, reach high. Good. So on this other side, we'll have him do the high reach again, and this time sink into the front leg, and then sink into the back. So you may want to hold these positions. They feel really good. You may just want to hold each position for 20 or 30 seconds and then continue with the movement. So as he rolls back down this next time, we're going to do a low reach. So this is really good for that back leg. And notice how he's reaching through. This is a practical movement in case you had to go under something or reach low for something. So notice how he's kind of lined up with that front shoulder. It's also good for the ankle. So now as he rolls back, he'll do the other side, do the same thing with that low roll. So notice how his back heel is basically being glided across by his hips, and there's really not much space in between, or if at all, between that heel and his butt. So this is another really good stretch, a good mobilizing exercise. And now for another progression, Isaac's going to come straight to a standing position out of that low kneel from rocking. Good. So notice how he didn't tuck his toes, he just rolled over that foot. For some people that's really difficult, maybe even painful. You can slow things down and tuck the toes. So notice how Isaac slowed it down a lot right there so that he could stop, tuck his toes, and then stand up out of it. And if you really have tough toes, you could go straight into a tuck toe position and roll into it, but better not try that if you have any pain or you're worried about having pain. So notice how Isaac's kind of moving around all over the place, and that time he did the tuck and toe position. But notice how he moves all over the place. If you have a lot of space where you're at, really explore around, see how much you can travel. It's kind of an interesting exercise to see how you can make it from one side of a room to the other and how efficiently you can do it. So make sure you experiment with these movements and Just try them out, do 10 or 12, incorporate them into your own movement practice, and notice how they really waken up your nervous system. And it's a good warm-up to do these exercises and a good cool down. It's good to do in the middle of a workout. These are just really good, healthy movements.